Let's go back to our panel on this. Clearly a controversial issue. Ambassador Jim Gilmore, who's former governor of Virginia and US ambassador to the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe in President Trump's first administration. And we also have former New York State Senator David Carlucci. David, can I ask you, first of all, this is quite a confusing story, isn't it? Because on the one hand, it sounds quite cruel, doesn't it? The forcible sort of deportation of children, unaccompanied children. But then we also hear that they're going to be reunited with their parents. So I think our viewers might be quite confused by all of this.
Yeah, I think it was good that you had this reporter who's been covering the story on the ground talk to the viewers and tell us what's really going on here. Because when you hear, oh, we're just reuniting these children with their parents, that sounds great. But then when you hear the actual story of why many of these children came to the United States in the first place, how they have made claims that they fear going back to Guatemala, how it could be dangerous for them, then it comes into picture. And the bigger part is the due process, hearing about another infringement upon something we hold dearly in the United States, and that's due process. And Trump is going around that and is saying, it doesn't matter because we need to get rid of all illegals. Well, if you talk to most people that voted for Donald Trump, they'll tell you, oh, well, illegal immigration is a problem. Why? Because of crime, because of fears of crime. And yet the Trump administration is not prioritizing that at all. I think most Americans would feel comfortable if you're prioritizing going after criminals. And it doesn't matter if they're illegal or non-legal. They're just as dangerous to Americans or to tourists or anybody here. And so we need to prioritize that. When you go and deport children, I think it becomes more than just a stat. When it's an adult illegal immigrant, okay, it's a stat, it's a number. When it's a child, it's a child. And I think people have that distinction and that ability to make that discretion, that have a little bit of humanity, have some empathy, and make sure that you're doing the job. The waste of resources that's getting pulled away from preventing violent crime, from going after violent criminals, preventing terrorism, is now going towards deporting innocent children. That's crazy. And I think these are heightening up to a bigger problem.
Let's put that to Jim Gilmore. Two charges, really, Jim. First is that these children fear going back to Guatemala, and also that Donald Trump, yet again, the Trump administration is ignoring due process. Whatever the rights and wrongs, he should be playing by the rules, and he isn't.
Well, I'm a lawyer, a former elected prosecutor, and a former attorney general of Virginia. And I don't believe in attacking due process or the courts. I believe in due process. But almost nothing that you put on this show so far makes the slightest bit of difference. You can't have one set of laws for children and another set of laws for adults. There are millions of children in South America who could assert that sometimes their circumstances are not right. What are they doing here in the first place? Why are they here? This is a hot-button issue on behalf of American voters, but also in the United Kingdom. This is one of the most hot-button issues in the United Kingdom right now also. And the fact is that you have to have laws that apply consistently across the board. Otherwise, the law is meaningless. And that's just not something that can work. So the point is that you can. I'm in favor of due process. I mean, just a minute. I'm in favor of due process. Just a minute, David. I'm in favor of due process, but I'm not in favor of trying to say because of heartstrings and children and so on like that we suspend the law, immigration laws of the United States. And that's really what your previous.
But that's what's happening here. They're not given the right of due process, which we just heard from this local attorney reporter on the ground. They're saying they have cases pending before immigration attorneys because of this fear for their lives. Well, and yet Donald Trump is not allowing them that due process.
Well, that's fine. And the ones that have got due process issues and procedures should go ahead and have the due process and procedures. But yes, we agree about that. We agree about that. But all the story so far has said heartstrings, children are going to be in trouble, and children
Well, yes, that's what gets people's attention, not the statute of the law.
Can I just jump in there,
David, but it's all just speechifying. It's not true.
So, Jim, can I ask you this? Because President Trump said that, and his administration have said, that their mass deportation scheme is about rounding up criminals, the worst of the worst, that they have said. not children. Why do you think then that the administration is pursuing this?
Because it's a violation of the law. And it's something that should not be permitted. Are we going to look? I'm going to ask you: are we going to have immigration laws in the United Kingdom and the United States, or not? If we are, then we have to adhere to them, or the Congress is going to have to change them. But in the case of these young people who are here illegally, you can't just say, "Oh well, never mind, doesn't matter." If the law is no good on immigration matters, it's no good on other things as well. And you simply cannot live.
But it's about prioritizing the resources of the United States government. It's about prioritizing it, because you and many others will say there are possibly over millions of undocumented people in the United States. What are we going to do about that? We should prioritize who we're going after and then allow people appropriate due process. And that's what's being stumbled upon here.
I would hate to think that laws of the United States can either be suspended because of a lack of priority. The fact is that you have to adhere to the law. And what I was referring to was the millions and millions of young people in other parts of the world who would love to come here. Let me give you one more example. What are they doing here in the first place? You can get young people into this country, give them the right to stay here because they're children, and then apply for their parents to come into this country. That's what could happen under present law, and that can't be permitted. Otherwise, you just
why not? That's what's happened for 100 years and over in this country, and what many of us have been able to plant roots here in the United States as immigrants like myself, family from Italy and other parts of Europe. That's the story of America. That's the process, right?
Certainly an important,
David, that's not true.
David and Jim, certainly an interesting discussion, and one that we are going to have to pick up with both of you perhaps another day, because we've run out of time on this topic. But we'll be back with both of you.